Well, all right, everybody. It's so weird coming in silent there, but they don't know it because we're doing editing now, man. Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to This Pink Clouds, Season 3, Episode 2. Episode 2, yes. And we are at lovely Hello Studios here in downtown Dallas.
Big D.
That's right, dude. I'm loving it. Love the new digs. Just bear with us on the technology side of things. We're figuring that all out as we go. But anyway, so it's been a while since you've been on. You haven't been in the new studio because we've only done one episode. But my good buddy, and I have strong beard envy today, but my good buddy, LPC, LCDC, Mr. Fitness, as he bows up like this, right? He wants to say, he goes, dude, don't sit me in the back, man. I look too small, man. I go, dude, I'll get you front camera, dude, so you look large and beefy, dude. Yeah. But this is one Mr. Dusty Burrows. How you been, dude?
Man, I've been great, dude. Thanks, Kelly. I'm just getting started on the new year. Got big plans for the year. I'm just trying to manifest awesome. And so far, so good, you know. So knock on wood, and just trying to stay healthy and avoid COVID and keep doing the damn thing.
Good luck with that, dude.
Yeah, right.
But, yeah, I'm excited. Also, in studio with us is, I guess, I don't know if you have a title, but I will have a title for you eventually. But this is VJ Moksha, and he is with the Mystic Mandala Center in Plano, and that is mysticmandala.org. But VJ, I appreciate you coming out. And before we get into your story, I always like to do this. Check out our sponsor real quick, which is www.summersky.us, and that is 888-857-8857. Once again, that is www.summersky.us, 888-857-8857. It is a place where I went to rehab. I got better, and if I can do it, you can do it.
That's true.
Right?
If we can do it, anybody can do it.
Exactly. Because honestly, I didn't think I could do it. I honestly didn't. I was in that hole of despair, and I'm gonna here start playing a violin for me, Dusty. I was in that hole of despair. I was on my couch. It was a desperate time. But anyway, but VJ, thank you so much for coming out. The reason why I wanted to have you on is because you're friends with Dusty, but also
that should be enough. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, thank you, Kelly. Thank you for having me over, and thank you, Dusty, for making this connection. It's awesome what this Pink Cloud is doing and what you hope to achieve with this show.
Well, and basically what the show is about addiction recovery, and then all assets and all facets of that. So. You know, from day one when I went into rehab, they've always said, hey, you know, it's always important. The whole meditation/prayer thing is a huge part to recovery. So I'm like Dusty said, oh, well, I can get Vijay from the Mystic Mandala. And I'm like, oh, where you do recovery Dharma? And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, dude, that would be a great fit for the show. So, I mean, what I want to do is just kind of, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and obviously about the Mystic Mandala Center and what goes on there?
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been quite a journey that as always, everybody has quite a journey. So my journey started 5,000 miles away from here, born and brought up in India, and spent about 17 years in the fashion industry.
Oh, wow.
Typical 100 day of my life was to travel to factories and do a lot in textiles and such, and that eventually led me to a life of excesses. It was just not easy with all the travel. You have a lot of liberty and nobody to watch over you, different time zones. So you do what you want to, basically. Then eventually, in 2007, 2008, there was a change of heart. The market crashed. The textile industry wasn't doing as well. And it gave me an opportunity to step back, Kelly, and to see, wait a minute, what am I doing with my life right now? And that shift helped me realize that, okay, this is the reason why you're here, which is a higher purpose than just to live a hedonistic lifestyle. The shift allowed me, this market shift, this economy crash, it allowed me to introspect, and that's exactly what I did. And I chose the world of meditation, which I believe is a higher addiction. The lower addictions are everything to do with alcohol and drugs and such, and you are dependent on something outside of you. When you are meditating, then you are just balancing all the chemicals in your life, the chemicals in your physiology, and just coming to your natural state, just like children do.
Right.
They are happy, joyful, they are not stressed, there's no anxiety. So that led me to a path to work on myself, and it became very apparent to people. They started to notice it, and they wanted to know, what is it that changed about me? What am I doing now? So I started to guide them that, okay, I'm utilizing incense sticks and fragrant candles and crystals and deep breathing and yoga and this and that. And they wanted to follow suit.
Right.
And gradually, as they say, when you start walking by yourself and you're on the right path, a caravan will form with you. So people started to join, and that's how Mystic Mandala came about.
Okay, so basically, I love it that you said fashion, because I can tell. I mean, not many people can pull this off. What you have going here, I honestly, it's like kind of almost like a Ringo Starr vibe from the Beatles, little George Harrison.
You are very generous with your compliments.
I like it though. I like it.
Thank you.
Dusty, I mean, learn something here.
I love it, man. I know.
If they made
I gotta
those,
step up my fashion.
No, if they only made those in schmediums, dude, so you could.
Maybe he knows how to get the textiles. I can have one made.
Right. So okay. So you say like the whole almost paradigm shift in your thinking with the market crash and all that stuff. But what made you go, okay, well, hey, Plano. Plano sounds good, and I'm going to start a place called Mystic Mandala Center. How does that happen?
Well, life just takes you, and it just builds its own story around you. So my company, based out of New York, wanted me to come to Plano and service the JCPenney account.
Okay.
So they're on Legacy Drive in Plano, and I actually bought a house on Legacy Drive. To facilitate that part of my life. And you know what? Then since I was here, Plano is now home for the past 13 years. And this is it, There's a community that we built within the community, which is a meditative community. So we have people who wanted to be a part of Mystic Mandala, wanted to know more about meditation. The words Mystic Mandala, mystic comes from the word mystic by itself.
Sure.
Everything is mystical and magical in this universe. Everywhere you look, you got to have the eyes to see the magic. And mandala is like a sacred geometric pattern, which I picked up as a name because I think that everybody and every situation in your life is put together with, let's say higher consciousness, or you have a life path, and it's going to automatically happen. So it becomes like a sacred geometry. So Kelly, Dusty, if you look at, you all's relationships with people, you can always place them everywhere. And if you draw circles and lines, you'll come up with the mandala. You'll come up with sacred geometry.
Okay.
So that was the name. Started off as a meditation center and is still going strong.
Yeah, and so you've been there for 13 years, huh?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you just started off doing basically meditation, and then I know that you've grown into like tons of different things. Like I'm just reading here, chakra healing. It's tatwa shuddhi, and then kosha cleansing. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on there. It's not just people just meditating, right?
Yes, the popular perception is that it's something very hard to do, that you sit silently with your eyes closed.
Now that is tough for some people.
It is.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because the bazaar inside your mind doesn't stop.
That's
whole,
true. Yeah.
The cacophony.
For sure.
Especially this mind.
Yeah. Right.
All our minds.
Yeah.
So the perception is that, this is what we people do. But you really can't understand by seeing a man sit silently what's going on in his mind. You really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So what the things that are mentioned there in front of you, tattva shuddhi is cleansing the energy field. The 5 koshas are your 5 bodies. You know, what we believe in Eastern mysticism, that we are just not the physical body, which is made of food.
Right.
But we are an energy body, and we are a body made of thoughts. We are a body made of knowledge and knowing, and we are a body made up of bliss.
Sure.
So we call those the 5 koshas.
Okay.
And so on and so forth.
I learned something. I need to be taking notes.
So normally people do take a lot of interest in the body made of food, the physical body, because that's what you can see. And that becomes a very superficial way of working through meditation or working through life itself. We've got to go deeper. We've got to go into the energy body, and we got to go and work on the body made of thoughts. Something which, I'm very happy and proud, to somehow facilitate recovery dharma, which is what they do.
Right. And I was going to get to that. So, by the way, Dusty does a little something called recovery dharma, and I wanted you to, because a lot of people, on the show, we've always celebrated multiple pathways, and whatever helps you in your recovery, I say do it. I always say, like, the more tools in your toolbox, the better off you are, and whatever fits best for you, because the rooms in AA aren't always the best fit for some people. But like I said, I never talk smack against them, because I think it's a fantastic blueprint as far as the 12 steps go. But why don't you tell the people what recovery dharma is, in case somebody didn't know?
Yeah, well, I wanted to first start out and talk to people about what is multiple pathways. So there's many pathways to healing. So we have 12-step recovery. We have recovery dharma. We have celebration recovery, which is Christ-based. We have mindfulness and meditation, which is another pathway to recovery. Health and fitness. So it's all these paths leading to healing, right? And so one of those pathways that I enjoy is recovery dharma, which uses Buddhist principles as a pathway to recovery. And where AA uses the 12 steps, we use the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. And they can be used in accordance with 12-step recovery or without. So about half of our Sangha, or our community, utilizes 12-step recovery and Buddhist principles in recovery dharma. So I also wanted to take this opportunity to thank Vijay and Ananda for being our sponsors, our benefactors of space, because we use the Mandala Center every Wednesday at 7 to host our meetings.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, and okay, so then obviously the first question everybody asks, is it religious?
No, we don't ask you to believe in anything but your own power to heal. And that's it. So you don't have to be a Christian or an atheist or any other religion. We just want you to come here, keep an open mind, and utilize these principles for healing. And if nothing else, you're going to meet other people on a really good path with some sobriety that can assist you, or you can assist them.
Right. And then also I know that in recovery dharma, it's not just necessarily substance-based.
Absolutely.
It could be an eating disorder or anything, or if you just want some general mindfulness.
Absolutely.
It's a good spot and a good meeting to do it. You know, you just might happen to be around a few junkies and alcoholics.
Yeah,
but, you know.
Recovery Dharma was designed for a pathway from chemical addiction, but it's great for process addictions. It's great for trauma. We have people in there that are recovering from the traumas of divorce and breakups. So you never know why people are in there, because we don't identify as alcoholics or addicts.
Right.
In Recovery Dharma, we just identify as ourselves, and we're there with the common objective of healing.
I agree. I've been there, so I kind of know what it's all about. Well, I was the one that kind of sought it out, dude. I was trying to find a Recovery Dharma meeting when it was Refuge Recovery before whatever happened.
Well, that's what we did. We were seeking out a Recovery Dharma meeting, and we couldn't find one. So myself and a couple of other people said, well, let's just start one ourselves, So
there you go.
And that goes along with the whole idea of empowerment.
Right.
You might not always find somebody to do the thing that you want to do. So we are empowered as human beings to do that ourselves, whatever that may be.
Yeah, sure. Well, okay, so Vijay, I have a question for you. So, what do you do personally to meditate or to deal with your stress? Let's say of owning a business, because obviously that can be stressful. So, what would you recommend, and what do you practice?
Well, I practice doing nothing.
Okay.
And if something that I can tell all the listeners and everybody who's going to watch this show is to have some moments to yourself and to really do nothing.
Okay.
The mind becomes stronger when you are doing something, and what we understand of the mind is an ego mechanism.
Okay.
So a person, let's say, when we talk about recovery, and if they have an addiction to something, let's say alcohol, so they are drinking through the ego for the ego. And when they decide that they want to stop doing so, they again utilize the same ego. So that's why it takes a way long time. It's a longer process. With meditation, you actually weaken the mind by not paying attention to it.
Okay.
So every day, I would meditate. I start with my own meditation, which is close to about 40 minutes. I don't recommend more than 20 minutes to anyone.
Okay.
Because if you are meditating for more than 20 minutes, you're just lazy.
You might. I was going to say you might be asleep.
Yeah, you might be asleep. So 20 minutes is a good time, and you go through the stages of your own being. So the first stage is that you relax the body. So you take that and takes a few long deep breaths and close your eyes, and you just calm down the body. Just make sure that you have everything that your body needs to feel comfortable, and sit in a comfortable position. And so from the first step of the body, you go to the mind. Now pay attention to the mind, become a witness to all the thoughts that you're accumulating. What are the thoughts that are coming into my mind? Okay, I have bills to pay, I have meetings to attend, I have to do groceries, I have to have an argument with my best friend.
Right, I always have that one up at the top.
So
I always have an argument with wife. It's somewhere on the list.
So the second stage is to quieten the mind, is to be aware that yes, they are your thoughts, but don't pay too much attention to them.
Right.
The third stage would be to quieten the heart and open it up, by which I mean that, okay, a lot of people are ruled by fear. Fear is one thing which pushes people, let's say, towards addiction and towards all sorts of issues in their life, because this fear traumatizes them. You're more afraid of this trauma happening to you than the actual event that might unfold. So you're more worried about what if it unfolds than rather it unfolding.
Right. Well, and what I consider that, and I always refer to it, and it's so tough to get a hold of, is future tripping.
Yes, I guess the word you say is right.
Yeah, that's just kind of my own lingo or vernacular.
I love that. I'm going to borrow that.
Do it, yeah. But I'm worried about what's happening before it's even happened, and it makes it so much worse than just if I.
And often it never even happens, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
it never happens.
You're in constantly. So the third stage of meditation after the body, after the mind, is to open the heart and be accepting of that which is to follow and what is happening right now. And the last is your being. So you return back to your breath. You tell yourself any mantra that you have for yourself, any positive affirmation that you're safe, you belong in your body, you belong in this life, and yes, there is a purpose to your being here.
Okay.
So those 4 stages, you can go through, those 4 stages in 20 minutes.
And they can go to call the Mandala Center and actually.
Oh, of course.
You'll do like a guided meditation all the time.
Of course, I was going to come to the shameless promotion part shortly. But yes, I do offer guided meditations in a group setting every Tuesday in the evening. The meditation on that day is to read the teachings of great masters.
Okay.
So we pick a book and we read a couple of pages, and these are books that I have read in my life, and I think that people should have that wisdom, and kind of like take some words home. And then on Thursdays we have the Mystic Mandala meditation. The format is very simple. It's an hour-long meditation. We serve some Indian chai. That's like the chai tea,
yeah,
yes.
Sure.
And then a couple of stories from, Zen stories or Sufi stories, and a couple of techniques of meditation, deep breathing and such. And then on Saturday mornings, I host a class which is to do with the koshas, the chakras. It's more intense. It's more. It's more,
advanced.
Advanced, or rather, I would say more deeper into the Eastern philosophies.
Okay.
For those who want to, because we
Sure.
always want to keep the like you asked the question, is recovery dharma religious?
Yeah.
So just like that, our meditations aren't, but we borrow from the Eastern philosophies of Zen and Buddhism and Hinduism.
Well, that's going to lead me into like actually the next question, and this is open to both of you guys. But I mean, okay, so a lot of people maybe have this confused. The difference between there's meditation and there's prayer. So what would you say, either one of you guys, what would you say the fundamental difference between the two are, or are they alike?
You want to take that one first?
Sure. So I believe that prayer is when you talk to God, and meditation is when He talks back to you, when He answers you. So in meditation, you are quiet and contemplative, and you wait for the answers to come, which other people call intuition, or thoughts that just arise within you, from within. They are not put in by Kelly or Dusty or anyone. And prayer is when you fall on your knees, literally, and you are begging for support. You are requesting for attention, and you are reaching out to God.
Okay.
So prayer, you speak, and meditation, you listen.
I like that. Dusty, can you follow that up?
I can't follow that up. That was perfect, and I knew it would be. But I did have another question.
Yeah.
Kind of tying things, mindfulness and meditation, back to the addiction piece. So I've heard addiction described as a persuasive pattern of avoiding feelings, right? So whether that behaviors or drug use, alcohol use, and you alluded to kind of that when you were traveling, right? So how does mindfulness and meditation help one to avoid these types of behaviors?
Yeah, so the greatest promoter or proponent, maybe the greatest flag bearer of mindfulness is a Vietnamese monk. His name is Thich Nhat Hanh. And he has written many books about mindfulness. So you're eating, you're sitting and reading a book, you conversing with someone, whatsoever you're doing, if you do it with awareness, with mindfulness, then it automatically brings attention and awareness to your own higher self, your own higher consciousness. Because somewhere within you, Dusty, there is a little being which lives in your heart, and it tells you what is right and what isn't. And it has a small, frail voice. But unfortunately, our egos are so strong that we end up going to a bar and say, okay, it doesn't matter, I can have a couple of drinks, I'll be fine. Because that voice is small and frail, and it's very soft. And the music in the bar is very loud. So you just have to have the ears to listen to that small, sweet, frail voice within you. And what people call it as the conscience. And it's there all the time. So what Thich Nhat Hanh says to us is to be mindful and to listen carefully.
Who was the guy again?
Thich Nhat Hanh.
Okay.
So he's a Vietnamese monk, and he was a visiting professor in the University of Columbia here. He has something called the Plum Village in France, outside of Paris, where people can just go and have walking meditations or fruit plucking meditations. So
I was going to say, you have had to, I mean, obviously, I find being from India a fascinating period. But then with the fashion, you've probably traveled all over.
Yes, I have been fortunate.
Yeah, and then why don't you tell us some of the cool places that you've been or fortunate enough to actually experience.
I would say that all these countries that I traveled, the manufacturing countries, and then European countries, the most fascinating is probably the manufacturing third world nations who are developing, and there is so much of humility there. If back in the day, 15 years ago, the average salary for, let's say, a worker in a factory in Bangladesh, let's say, was $70 a month. That's $70 a month.
Sure.
So it takes a certain way of living. It takes a certain way of sharing with others.
Right.
It takes a certain way of caring for one another, that the people there are able to survive. And not only survive, since they've never seen views like this, they are happy in their worlds. They are content. They are content with what's happening with them. And that teaches a lot of humility, and that makes us grow. So that's something I could mention, obviously, that you should have the eyes to see. I went with a friend of mine. She went to India for the first time, and that's Ananda, my business partner.
Hi,
and
Ananda.
Director of the organization. And I was very worried that she'll come to my hometown and she'll see, parts of the city which is not very clean. There are open sewers and, poverty rampant, and beggars and small shacks on the streets, like people living on the streets. And to my amazement, she didn't see that. So it's what the eyes want to see. She was just seeing the warmth, the love, the affection of the people.
Right.
And the beauty, the mysticism of it all.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So I would say that that's this world travel has taught me many things, but most of all, just an awareness, just being completely aware. And Kelly and Dusty, I mean, as an immigrant to this country, I'm thankful every day. What it really means to live in an air-conditioned environment in my house, to set the temperature whenever I have to go to bed, to have clean drinking water coming from your faucet.
Oh, yeah.
You can just have tap water.
Oh, yeah.
It's a blessing. It's really a blessing. This 10-mile visibility that we have in Dallas today, it's a blessing because you don't have that in Shanghai or in New Delhi. It's not there. So I am in gratitude every day.
Yeah.
Being here and being alive as well.
I love it. I love it. Hey, do we have a picture of the studio? Actually, the Mandala Center. We won't be able to see it over here, but he'll just pull it up real quick. But it's the nice shot I got on the. It was the first photo I pulled up of actually the temple. It looks like that one.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, is that like what would you call that room?
Oh, that's the meditation hall.
The meditation hall.
Yeah, it's a small space, I guess, with the walls, but the heart space is huge.
Right, exactly. But so in there, I mean, do you have different rooms, maybe where somebody has a private session, or is it just all the great hall?
It's just one hall now. Yeah, we had a bigger space. Actually, those pictures are from that space, but we had to move from our larger space due to COVID. We are also an accredited school of yoga, accredited by the Yoga Alliance. So we actually teach teachers.
Okay, so what does that entail? Like, I mean, as far as like, in order to have that accreditation, do you have an accreditation? I was gonna get to this. Do you have a title? Do you have a title? Like I call Dusty the bearded oracle.
Well, I never thought of this.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
thought of it. But if you see the way that we put my name, Vijay Moksha, Moksha is that title, I would believe. Moksha literally means liberation.
Okay.
So I would say that that's my name as my title as well.
Okay.
As that whosoever I meet, I like to have.
I didn't know if you got a certificate or something like that.
Well, the teachers that I have followed with and the teachers that I've learned with are not very big and keen on certifications.
Okay.
Because, we always, I wouldn't say we doubt the certifications, but, we can't become meditation teachers if we have a 100-hour course certification.
Sure.
But with Yoga Alliance, what we did was that we have certified all the courses that we have prepared. It's a labor of love. And the courses that we used to provide, we're not too sure if we're going to start them again. These courses are extremely detailed, and it took us several months because they hadn't seen literature like this in the recent times.
Okay, I got you.
I wanted to ask you too about the holistic festival. You do that twice a year.
I was getting to upcoming events here.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Could you tell us how that started?
Yeah, so we, as an organization, we do several events in a year, and our idea is to bring community together. The first one we have is on the 19th of March, actually, which is called the Dallas Festival of Colors. And this festival brings people from all, race and religion and ethnicity and social backgrounds and financial standings all together. This is at the South Fork Ranch. We have 5,000 or 6,000 people at an average that attend this event. And then that is followed by the Holistic Festival of Life and Wellness that started off because I wanted to promote Mystic Mandala. And we didn't have enough money to pay, the larger online places like Google and Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
So we created an event which is free to public, where not only Mystic Mandala could promote itself, but other yoga studios, other meditation centers, crystal stores, you name it. Everybody can come.
Oh, that's
and
great.
we wanted to attract people, so we thought, well, you know what? We'll throw in music and dance performances.
Ah, nice.
And then we wanted to have people have like experiences. So like actual experiences. So we have now meditation sessions and yoga classes. And then that wasn't enough. We invited people from different parts of the medical and wellness community to come and give lectures. So, when you come to the Holistic Festival, you might be having a choice at, let's say, 1 p.m. to attend a talk given by a cardiothoracic surgeon, or you can attend a yoga class, or you can attend a sound healing, or you can attend a talk on crystals.
Is the sound hearing, is that like where they have the bowls?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Well,
like
we go
that.
a step forward. We go further. We have gongs
I was
and,
gonna say
Tibetan
gongs, yeah.
and the bowls and flute and whatnot.
Nice.
So, and then we have a very popular event that we do twice a year. It's called the Plano Family Expo, which brings in the mainstream community. And here families can come, and there's family entertainment. You've got like these Disney characters and baby sharks of the world and whatever is relevant with the children, and bounce houses.
I was gonna say pin the chakra on the yogi.
So yeah, we do a lot and with these events.
Yeah.
And interestingly, I don't know if you have that on, but I'll just mention it that I do run a nonprofit organization. Since 2013, it's called Human Embrace. And that's what actually helps us create these large community gatherings. And that was started to support the women and children, in need here in Collin County. And make sure that we work with safe houses and bring whatever goods and services that we can on a weekly basis.
Sure.
During COVID, we were extremely active and the lockdowns happened. With our partner restaurants and people who support us, we serve 20,000 free meals. So a lot goes into building a community.
You said 20,000. That's amazing.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, thank you. We were very fortunate. We had a lot of restaurants, and they just opened their kitchens to us because last year when the lockdowns happened, nobody knew what was going on. And most of the people in the lower rate, like the hourly wage rate people, they lost their jobs. Restaurants were shut down, and so on and so forth. And how would they eat, and what would they? So we were blessed to have support there.
Yeah, that's good.
So now the nonprofit is engaged in creating these free to attend community events. Each event brings in 5,000 to 6,000 people. Dusty, you've been there.
Yeah, I went. It was awesome. I knew I would enjoy it, but I went and I was like, "Whoa, I've found my people."
Yeah, right. No. I was going to say, yeah.
I met some of the coolest people.
Is Dusty going to be a speaker at the event?
I mean, probably may. Yeah, I will definitely be there in some capacity. I actually wanted to the last go round, but I wasn't able to.
Okay.
But I definitely plan on next one.
Of course, sure. We would love to have you speak.
Nice, I like it. So, just so people know, the Mystic Mandala Center is at 2121 Spring Creek Parkway, right? And that's Suite 216 and 75023. So it's really centrally located if you're in the DFW area. I'm just going to go ahead and read from your site here. It says, a holistic lifestyle center helping reclaim your inner peace with meditation and chakra balancing, experience mindfulness techniques for personal transformation, learn intuitive manifestation secrets used by millionaires to create business growth. There we go. I like that part. I wasn't expecting that, but I like it.
Yeah. And that's the same spot we do Recovery Dharma
Right.
Plano at.
No, and I love it. And if anybody wants to come out, that's obviously Wednesday nights. But as far as I don't know. So many questions, so little questions. Like, why don't you explain to us? Because when I hear the word chakra, I actually kind of know a little bit. I've done a little bit of research, but when you say chakra to somebody, how would you explain that, like in a one-on-one class, if no one's ever heard of the term chakra before?
All right, yeah, that's always a good question for me to answer wherever I go. If we look at the human physiology, we can quickly come to where the brain is and what the parts of the brains are. The left side, right side, cerebellum, the back portion, medulla oblongata. But if you were to be asked where is your mind located, so that would draw a blank, because we really don't know where the mind is. In the system coming in from Eastern mysticism, Eastern philosophy, we say that the mind is at 7 centers of the human manifestation.
Okay.
These 7 centers are along the spine, starting at the base and coming up to the top of your skull. And these centers are understood as chakras, or chakra really means a spinning wheel, or let's put it more visually appealing as a vortex.
Okay.
So these vortexes become smaller and larger, depending on how much attention you're paying. So the chakras are really mind centers. Starting with the lowest at the base of the spine, it is called the Root Chakra, or the Muladhar. Muladhar means the basis of your life. So if your basis of life is fear, this chakra is going to close down.
Okay.
And you will not really enjoy life as
now,
much.
is that chakra actually located in a specific spot? Do you have like a fear chakra that's located,
right
wherever?
at the base of the spine?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's supposed to be or said to be there, and this is your primitive and most predominant energy center.
Okay.
And it can get closed up with fear, and as we, or at least I say, that life always begins at the end of fear.
Okay.
So a person with a closed root chakra cannot really live life. They're always afraid of one thing or the other.
Give that to me again. Life is what? It just went by me. It was real quick, but it was deep.
Life begins at the end of fear.
Okay.
So
like
while
that.
you're in fear in those boundaries,
well, and I'm a huge fan of that, because I think a lot of it is fear of the unknown, and fear of change and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm glad you brought. I'm glad I pointed that out.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So that's one center of the mind.
Uh-huh.
The second center would be where you are wanting to really enjoy life and taste the opportunities of life, live in lust and desire and dreams. That is the Swadhisthana. That's the second center.
That's the biggest on Dusty.
It is actually the biggest on everyone.
There we go.
Okay, well, there
It's
we go.
the biggest on everyone. And then we come up to the Manipur, which is the city of jewels. This is where you want to interact with society. Then the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, and the Swadhisthana, which is the crown chakra.
Okay.
So each of these are mind centers, and they need to be worked on individually. So how do we work on them? There are meditations for that. There are mantras for that. There are certain fragrances which help you come into those places where you can actually open these chakras up.
Okay.
Let's say, like children, if you see, they always carry their one favorite teddy bear with them or a stuffed toy. And this toy is that comfort which helps them deal with their fears that, yes, I have a companion that won't let go of me. Because
Now, I guess I have a question real quick. So is Reiki and chakra therapy like the same thing, basically? Or?
Well, yeah, so Reiki works on your energy system, but there is no such thing as, like, let's say, chakra therapy, because this is a very, very individual journey. You have to work through these chakras yourself.
Okay.
While Reiki is something that can benefit you, if a good Reiki master sends you energy, which is, let's say, positive vibes, to put it simply.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers, yes, always, always.
Right.
So that kind of shifts your balance. It shifts it, it brings awareness, and it changes your body-mind mechanism. But on the chakras, you really have to answer your questions yourself. So let's say the root chakra, you have to answer 4 basic questions that would give you a light upon who you are. Would you like to know what those 4 questions are?
I would love to.
All right, the 4 questions are, the first question is, what is the meaning or purpose of your life? And you have to have 5 points written down for that.
I don't know.
So most people don't,
Right.
but the meaning and purpose of life, I know you're joking, but meaning and purpose, you have to find the answer to that. The second is, what is your religion? Now, that doesn't mean whether you follow Hinduism or Christianity or Judaism or any of that. What it means is that, what are your basic principles?
Okay.
What would you, I have a 12-year-old boy, if I bring him up to you, Kelly, what are the things that you'll teach him during a day? What will he learn from you? What is your code of conduct? What is your I would say, ethical morality?
Okay.
The third question to answer is, what do you lust for in life? What are your desires? So like on our website, we mentioned, get a mindset that millionaires do. Because a lot of people want to manifest a lot of things, many, many things,
Sure.
but they don't have the capacity to do it. They don't have the support. I always speak to Dusty about many things, and he's always very well informed about what is happening in the recovery world, right?
Right.
And I just got to know something about silver houses.
Yeah, sober living homes.
Silver living homes.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if I had $1 million sitting in my bank, I would certainly want to help. So that's what we mean by, what is your desire in life? So you might have various desires. Have you listed them clearly? And that would give you a good view into your own psyche.
Almost like a visions list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last is, what would liberate you? Most people feel very trapped in their day-to-day lives. They are going through unhealthy, toxic relationship, struggling marriages, and financial inadequacy from where they want to be and where they are. So what would really liberate you? What would set you free? So each person, each individual has to know the answers to those 4 predominant questions, which we call as Arth, Dharam, Kam, Moksha.
Okay.
I have a question, well, some feedback and a question. So you've come a few times now and done chakra meditations with our Sangha, and there's always really good feedback on it. And some of the feedback that I've gotten is feelings of unresolved trauma have come up for people, in a very powerful way. So how would you kind of relate processing through past trauma and unresolved traumas, and how does chakra meditation help with that?
So traumas are way deeper than what we think of them usually as just a thought. Trauma resides in all the 5 sheets of your body. They impact your physical body because people going through PTSD or trauma, they have shivers, they feel breathless, they're afraid in some way, their hands get cold and clammy. It hinders the mindset. You are in trouble with the thoughts that you have. You have low energy. Your vibrational field is not strong enough, and you really don't know how to get past it. So the body of knowledge gets impacted, and your bliss body kind of shrinks.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about trauma, we really have to start at the deepest levels and address questions to ourselves that what is it that, what are we most afraid of? First is the fear. And basically, let's not even go there, but let's talk about how you are responding to a particular situation in the past. And any trauma that is there in a person is to do with their past.
Mm-hmm.
That trauma is not happening in the moment. It's only that the mind has gone.
Absolutely.
So in meditation or in chakra healing, we bring the person back to this moment. So yes, I've had multiple times when I had to present publicly to large gatherings or go and attend important meetings, and it wasn't easy for me. I would get anxious, and gradually, bit by bit, I realized that in this moment I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
I have a neural pathway which takes me back to a very sad or anxious moment in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say sipping warm water in your studio. I might have had a very bad experience 10 years ago, sipping warm water in a studio. And so my mind
It's another
goes there.
show where they waterboard you.
But trauma is to do with your past, and the chakras are in the moment. You are here. You are here now to be present in the here and now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I answered that correctly, but maybe I'll try to articulate it better.
No, you did, and we talk about that in therapy all the time, because right now everything's okay. Just bringing your mind back to the present, whether it's sitting in an office, whether it's being here in the studio, everything's okay right in this moment. Any anxiety is either about the past or the future.
Yeah, and in our meditations, this thought has really come up, is that the mind, our mind and our truth, they never meet. And here's the reason why. Your mind is either in the past, being traumatized by those memories, being sad and guilty about what has happened, or your mind is in the future, where it is dealing with the anxieties and
future
desires.
tripping.
Mm-hmm.
Future tripping, exactly. And where is the truth? The truth is happening now.
Sure.
This is the truth. We are in the studios right now with
Right.
you, Kelly. This is the truth.
Right.
So the mind and the truth rarely meet. The only point where they meet is the point of meditation.
Right.
So my favorite instruction to meditators is to be in the here and now. You are in the right place at the right time. There is nowhere else to go. There is nothing else to do. So if you can bring that mindset all the time in your life, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm giving
Sounds
good
like it.
feedback. So when people talk to me about their first, experiences with meditation, and they're like, I just wonder if I'm doing it right. And I just tell them, if you're doing it at all, you're doing it right. So would you agree with that?
I totally agree.
Okay, good.
If they are available, that's all it's needed.
Yeah, as long as you're trying to have some form
Right.
of mindfulness
Mhm.
and getting quiet and just being, I guess.
Right.
you
Just
know?
the effort itself is success.
Right.
True. Just being available.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's true.
Just show up.
Right, exactly. Well, real quick, want to hit our sponsor again. That is Summer Sky, which is www.summersky.us, and that is 888-857-8857. Lovely place out in Stephenville, Texas. I got clean and sober there. It only took me 30 days,
Mm-hmm.
by the way, and it only took me one time. So I'm kind of excited about that. But today, actually, Dusty, and this is a big day. 18 months of sobriety today.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Recovery brought us together.
So let's go have a beer, bud. But yeah, definitely hit the guys up at Summer Sky. They're great people out there, and they actually really care, and you're not a number. And that number again, though, is 888-857-8857 and summersky.us. Hit them up if you need some help. Tell them I sent you. And then also, if you are on any other formats besides YouTube, we have, it's an actual podcast. We go through Anchor, which is on Spotify, I believe Apple Play. I'm going to get Nate to give me the list. Yeah, Apple Podcasts. Like basically any format we're on. So be sure and like us and subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, I made it really easy for you. There's a little icon in the right-hand corner of the actual video. You just hit subscribe, and you're done.
Just hit it and quit
That's it. And then be sure and comment on these things, and share it to any of your friends that you think might benefit from this. Because we've got good stuff on all the time. Actually, next week we have the actually filmmaker from the Crystal Palace or Crystal City, is it?
Crystal City.
Excellent
documentary.
It was a documentary. As I that's why I got to write things down.
Yeah, but it was a documentary about meth addiction in New York City,
right?
In the gay community.
Yeah,
and it profiles some men and their stories, and this documentary is very powerful and very moving.
It was definitely very eye-opening for me because it was just like, oh my God, well, I knew this was happening, but it really gives you kind of a fly on the wall kind of view.
It humanizes these
for sure,
and their struggles and their triumphs as well.
So I'm excited about that, but definitely go see this dude, Dusty, on Wednesday nights out at the Mystic Mandala Center. You want to give him the time?
Yeah, it's 7 o'clock every Wednesday. It's open to the public. Like I said, it's a chemical addictions process, or if you just want to meet some other people living a life of recovery. We have people brand new to it, first-timers every week, and we have people with years of recovery and everything in between. So come out to support.
Do they need
or to
anything?
Get supported. All you have to do is come. That's all you
have
got
to do.
You don't
show
need to
up.
bring anything. Yeah, it doesn't cost a thing. Just show up at 7, and we'll be there to welcome you.
I love it. And then go ahead and obviously I want to thank you for coming out and thank you for your time. I definitely have to come in and get more involved because I heard a bunch of stuff. I'm like, oh, I want to check that out. Oh,
well,
I want to check that out.
Thank you, Kelly, for bringing me over to your show.
Mm-hmm.
This Pink Cloud,
Sure.
you guys are doing a fantastic job, and it takes a lot of effort to build a person back, forget a community.
Yeah.
So you're going one person at a time. Dusty,
Sure.
you're doing the same. Thank you so much for having me over here. mysticmandala.org is the website to visit. My number is 972-750-1419. For those of you who just want to send me a text, send me your info, what you are struggling with, what is your journey in life. The website is mysticmandala.org. And we meet on Tuesday evenings, Thursday evenings and Saturday mornings. More information on that website. And hey, like and subscribe this Pink Cloud on YouTube.
There we go.
Awesome.
I didn't even have to plug it myself, so that's cool, man.
And just one more thing, I just wanted to plug Texoma Community Center. We're serving Grayson, Cook, and Fannin counties. We have lots of different programs. Mental health programs for children, but what I'm involved in is the substance disorder program and also substance use disorder. And we have an outpatient program, and we also have an OBOT program, which is office-based opioid treatment, which provides medication-assisted treatment using Suboxone. So we can do that low cost or free of cost, depending on what your financials are. And if you don't have any insurance, give us a call, texomacc.org.
Okay, so yeah, I know. I mean, I love it because you actually work there and you're front line in it, and a lot of it is very affordable, if not free, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we serve the folks that don't have any resources.
Okay.
So, but if you do have insurance and you do have resources and you're looking for a treatment center, outpatient program, we can also help you with that. Give me and Kelly a message on Facebook.
Or if you need a recovery coach, dude, I am an RSPS.
That's right.
So, you know.
He is.
Anyway, as I pose. But, yeah, thanks for coming out. I appreciate you guys coming out. Definitely, I will see you again at some point. I need to come out to the Mandala Center and get my Mandala on. But, yeah, hey, guys, thanks for coming out. And then remember, there is no magic pill for sobriety, because if there was, we would all take too many.